Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Sunday, November 10th. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, it's the weekend, right? So I can go off the rail. And that is how to become great at things and to get things out of life that you want. And a lot of times you say, well, you have that internal thing going on inside your head. The saying you're not good enough, you'll never amount to anything, and keep replaying that stuff in your head. And you kind of self sabotage anything good in your life, right? And it's very real. It's just how do you change that? It's how do you define success? Do you want more friends? Do you want, a partner? See, the thing is that no matter how you look at it, you need to be loved. That's the key. And if you can't love yourself, why would you expect other people to love you in turn? So we need to start changing that internal thing of saying of how you're never going to be good enough or you're not good enough or all the self-sabotaging phrases that get caught in your head. For some, it was a parent that said something that they didn't really mean. They just, like the father saying, you'll never amount to anything. Yeah, you can. You sit there and you say, well, I don't have any friends. Why is that? Because nobody likes me. Well, why does nobody like you? Now, is this something internal that's going on that's telling you this everybody hates you or whatever? Or is it you running that same internal crapola that is sabotaging any chance of having good friends and relationships? Because I've seen that all too often. People talk about becoming successful and becoming great at things and achieving things. But in the end, I'm going to tell you right now, none of it has any value if you're not loved. So if you want more friends, what would you think would be the way to go about it? Well, you need to get out. You need to open yourself up and allow people in. You have to have a level of trust. Because if you distrust people, they've got this high hurdle that they got to overcome just to even talk to you or even start to become your friend. And I've seen people that, had no friends, so-called, that they have relationships start, but they sabotage it because they don't think they're worthwhile to have it. They're worthless. And I can tell you right now, I've lived a few years on this earth, and I have yet to meet a worthless person. I've yet to meet somebody that didn't have any friends. And I've yet to meet anyone that was unlovable. Why do I say that? A lot of times we try too hard, all right? And the biggest thing that so many people, especially with this instant gratification going on nowadays, is everybody thinks that if it doesn't happen fast, that it's not going to happen. And see, relationships take time. They take nurturing. They take a level of trust from you that you have to let your guard down to allow people in. But no matter what angle you look at, it always comes back to you. You need to define what you think a good friend is. Because there are level of friendships. There are. You have coworkers, can be friends, but they're not really close. They're just friends at work, right? And you might get together for, business dinners and this and that. But you're not hanging with them away from work. You got the childhood friends that if they're still around and you're still talking to them on a regular basis, they're the next level, right? They're not just people that you go to work with. They're people that you've known all your life and that never gave up on you. See, that's just it. You say, well, people, I start out having a friendship with them and then it just goes south. Well, it goes south because they're getting tired of constantly reinforcing to you that they're your friends, because you're always self-doubting. You're always discounting them. And you're always testing them to see if you should allow that level of trust instead of just trusting in the first place. And then you have your best friend that you can tell anything to other than you want to kill somebody, homicide or suicide, but that stays between you, right? And you've grown close, and those are the hardest to achieve, but the best ones to achieve. And the same thing with relationships. I see so often young couples that nobody's getting married anymore. Pretty much nobody. And I've heard them blame it on, well, my parents got divorced, so I don't want to get married and get divorced. And that's kind of self-sabotaging, isn't it? You're not your parents. You're not your buddies. Maybe they didn't have the relationship you have with a partner. But I can tell you that with people not getting married, it's like having one foot out the door, right? And in a relationship, you need both feet in the door. You need both feet, body, and mind there. Not with one foot out the door. And you're sending a message to your partner saying, you're not good enough to become my wife or my husband. Let's just do what we're doing now. It's carefree, and then you get kids involved, right? And they're looking at you as mentors. And they're looking at, well, my parents never got married, so why should I? But if you want good relationships, it takes time. If you want to find someone to settle down with, it takes time. If you want to become successful at things, that's an easier thing to do. And that's where a lot of people will force themselves over into, is to try to become successful versus to be loved or to love. If I wanted to become a great violinist, I understand it's going to take time and practice, right? And there's so many different styles out there of music, and And I would start first by listening to other works with a violin. I would start concentrating on what direction I wanted to go. And I would start practicing. I'd buy a violin and I would start practicing until I became very good at it, right? But the one thing I found in life is if you don't have anybody to share those moments with, they're not so great. If you don't have anybody around to kind of give you encouragement and be your cheerleader, it's a lot harder, right? Because it's easier to say I can't do it and set the violin down. Or self-sabotage yourself by convincing yourself that it's too hard. Life gets hard. Life is hard. Having a family is hard. Having good friends is hard. But there's a lot of benefits that go with it too that are great. The easiest way I can tell you, in simplest terms, is a lot of times it's not them, it's you, and how your internal dialogue is going all the time. We're going to have to change the dialogue first, right? And lower your trust that you have to be more trusting. If you're not willing to trust anybody, it's not going to work anyways. Because what are good friendships and relationships based on? Trust. And if you set this hurdle that high for anybody coming in, that they have to overcome, a lot of times they can't. So just give that some thought. I just thought it'd be a nice little sermon for Sunday on you are a good person. You can become great at whatever you want. You can have the relationships you want. You can become successful if you want. But it all starts with you. And getting you where you love yourself and you feel good about yourself. So on that note, you guys have a great Sunday, and we'll catch you here bright and early tomorrow morning. Again, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.